What's up, ground flippers? We're over here in Pasadena, Texas, and I kind of wanted to break down this deal. We actually just closed on this morning. It funded this morning. It is more of a wholesale deal, and when I first saw the property and I saw the numbers on it, I thought, well, it might not work, you know, if you're looking at it as a traditional wholesale or even just a flip. But then I got digging into the numbers. I thought, man, this would make an excellent wholesale deal. So I'm gonna break down all the numbers of what I was looking for when evaluating what a wholesale was. And if any of you are familiar, wholesale is really just a hybrid of a wholesale and a retail, right? So a retail transaction or a flip is when you're gonna come in, you're gonna put in $50,000, $60,000, you're gonna make it look, you know, amazing. And then a wholesale deal is obviously where we would take it, we aren't gonna do anything to it, we're gonna sell the contract or sell the property before it's closed on. Or buy it and sell it the same day, right? That would be a wholesale. So yeah, let's walk this property, guys, and then let's break down all the numbers and why it really stood out to me to be a wholesale candidate. And maybe this is a strategy you guys can have in your arsenal when you're evaluating deals. Not every single deal is gonna be an exact fit, right? Not every single deal is gonna be a 70% flip. Not every deal is going to be a deal which you can wholesale. So yeah, this is a perfect example, guys. This is one I personally invested in. So yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what we're working with here. All right. So you'll see it's, most of this is all original. Let's get some lights on in here. And this one is a crazy house, guys. Total square footage is around 3,000. It's kind of been added on to over the years. But one thing is that they have kept this in amazing shape. You see all that old paneling along here. Got this nice brickwork here. Also goes back into this dining space. All this brick here. And there's actually a bedroom back here. I mean, technically this is good enough size. You got your water heater here. Water heater looks pretty new. Got a full bath back here. All that surround looks in good shape. One thing I do think it would be worth doing is going through and changing all these old face plates. It's a pretty cheap fix. So this is a full walk-in closet. Pretty cool. They left a little bit of stuff, but I mean, man, they got rid of almost everything. Got the foundation paperwork here. They had a foundation warranty. They had it recently done. Let me just send this over to my guy because he was asking for it. Man, this house kind of feels like a maze. It's so big, 3,000 square feet in a single story house. So that's one of the things that really attracted me to this one. Let's go ahead and get this door closed just so we don't get any inquiring neighbors, which happens a lot. All right, so here's what we're working with bedroom wise. This is one of the bedrooms. I love these shutters. These shutters are awesome. They're like custom plantation style shutters. These are actually really expensive if you want to have them done at your house. And a lot of times it's used to mask up older windows. But these have all new vinyl windows on them. So all the windows are pretty much brand new, which is amazing. Some storage. Here's another bathroom here. That beautiful sea blue. All right, so you've got 1, 2, talking, there's just a world of light switches. Oh, that was the AC. 3 here, a couple closets here, another bathroom here. So this is technically the primary. One thing I did notice when we first walked the house is that there is some opening of the tile down here in this primary shower. I think this might have been a leak. So we might want to get that corrected. Yeah, so you got 4 bedrooms just in this hallway right here. You've obviously got at least 1 at the back, possibly 2, so 5, 6, and then this property has an ADU. So you're talking, 7 bedrooms potentially in this property. We'll go check out this mother-in-law suite here quickly. I would say this stairwell, although it was built okay, probably needs some reinforcing. It's just been there a long time, so you don't have 100% confidence walking up to it. The roof looks great. Might need a little bit of flashing work on that side, but you can see it's all new 30-year shingle on there. This is the mother-in-law suite. So this does need a little bit of work, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. Crazy, they actually put in a shower on this side. So you could really spend a lot of money in here if you wanted to, and even rent this out. Help you with your mortgage. It's another selling point, or do what it says and throw your mother-in-law in there. It's all gutters. Siding looks pretty much brand new. It's all hardy plank. And it's hot today, guys, so sorry for the heavy breathing. Brand new unit right here, and the house is so big. Also, that fence line is awesome, brand new. It's kept in really good shape. Got another unit right over here. It's a little bit older, but not too old to be concerned with. So yeah, as you guys can see, it's a pretty cool house. Big, a lot of bedrooms, mother-in-law suite. Although a lot of this is dated in here, especially this paneling, it kind of goes in line with some of the comps that we're looking at, which means we don't have to fix it up. You know, to achieve the price we're hoping to achieve, that kind of 285 mark, we don't have to go in there and put in $70,000, $80,000, because then it wouldn't work. The numbers wouldn't work at all. So this is going to be going through, making little fixes, changing light bulbs, changing face plates, you know, patching up any cracks, just do some general servicing of a few of the you know, appliances, make sure that they work, you know, picking everything out of the walls here, any little nails in the walls. And that's about it. We're gonna have this thing listed in no time. But yeah, let's break down the numbers, guys. All right, guys, so let's go over these numbers here. On this Wholetail deal. When we got the lead, they were asking what we eventually ended up giving them, which was $185,000. The story behind the property was the seller needed to leave pretty quickly, and she wanted to go up to Oklahoma and live next to her daughter. She was elderly. She didn't want the hassle of having it listed and, you know, having everyone walk through the property. Originally, we were going to give her a lease back. She needed it to move all of her stuff out. But it turns out that she worked it out, and she was actually out, you know, before closing. So when we got into the property, as you see through the walkthrough, it was all completely empty, and it was cleaned out, which is absolutely beautiful. We didn't have to worry about that. So here's the reason why I believe it was a good Wholetail. I'm going to run comps quickly, but guys, stay tuned. What I'm going to do is pull up our cash to close calculators and our profit calculators. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the cost that we spent on it to buy the deal. We brought $37.12 to the table, and then we had the earnest money in, which was $18.50, and then we had insurance outside of closing at $740. So our total out of pocket on this deal is $6,300. So not bad, $6,300. So what we're going to do is we'll come over here. I'm going to check the tax roll. The property on the tax roll shows that it's a 3-2, but also as we walk that property, you can see it's you know, it's closer to 4, maybe even 5 bedrooms, just discounting that back room that has the water heater. We'll probably actually go back in there and double check the square footage, because we know for a fact it's not 3 bedrooms, but the tax roll is showing 3,000. I'm pretty sure that's, you know, it feels pretty much accurate. You'll see down here on the city survey, they have the little ADU over here. All right, what does the city have it at? The city has it at 265, but you never want to rely on what the city has it at. So I went ahead and I pulled up some of the historical comps, everything that is sold above 260. And for this one, I'm sticking in this particular subdivision, just knowing the area a little bit. I'm not, you know, expanding too far out. So we'll start here, and you see we're definitely the biggest house. The highest house which is sold here in the last few years is $2,739, and we're $3,000. So let's take a look at these. This property is a little bit more investor grade. You know, they obviously put some tile in there. I definitely wouldn't have tiled it all like this, but they left the original cabinets. Looks like they put some quartz in there and backsplash, repainted, added some couple fixtures. There's no can lighting or anything, but kept it very simple. Can you see the windows? Let's take a look. Hard to tell if those are new. Those might be the original windows just cleaned up. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, so those aren't, brand new windows like ours has. It has a nice new walk-in shower. Has new doors. They put black hardware on there. Little patio. 2-car garage, same as ours, just split. So this one sold for $280,000. It has 2,000 square feet. The next one we're looking at here is 2725, so a little bit closer to our size. This property sold for $280,000. Has LVP in there. Painted. Put some carpet in the bedrooms. Hard to tell with the windows. It's a decent backyard. A carport to the 2-car garage. Oh no, it's a nice size garage. Separate garage. They left some of the original cabinets and replaced these. Yeah, it's a little bit nicer, that one. The next property we've got is 2,739. It sold for $285,000. Original cabinets. This is all Formica countertops. The original stove like ours does. They added some new light fixtures in there. No can lighting. Added some new doors where needed. This one is definitely more similar to our property, just with a few more updates and paint. Kept the original shower. This is a nice little bonus area back here. And then the last one we're looking at here, this one sold for $300,000, and it was 2,200 square feet. So this is the selling point on this one. Nice island, long island on there. They had some tray ceilings and some LED lighting, some can lighting. So yeah, the kitchen is the selling point on this one for sure. Nice walk-in closet. That's a good master right there. Yeah, so you can see why this one's a little bit more desirable. Nice back patio here. Carport. They do not have a garage, it looks like. Okay, so these are the ones we're working with right here. If we added up our square footage, we would be at roughly about 120 a square foot, which falls just below these two top comps here. Now it is putting us higher, right? Because we're such a big house and we don't want to be the biggest house on the block syndrome. So we're really just kind of maxing out to our highest comp. And although our highest comp is 300,000, you can see these are a little bit more updated than ours. They're a little bit, some have newer tiles, some are, cleaner all around. That one has the nice kitchen. So I'm going to discount it slightly on here. I'm going to put us around 285. Kind of puts us closer to these two comps, but we are 300 square feet bigger. But it allows for some wiggle room too, right? Because we got it at 185. So we're going to list it at 285. So what I'm going to come and do is I'm going to check on my cash to close calculator. Or actually, let's check the flip calculator, right? So we're shooting for 285. We bought it for 185. The rehab budget is, we'll go ahead and put about 5,000 in there. And then we'll put this loan structure at 70%, and we're going to put the points. Obviously, I'm a lender, so I'm just doing this for you guys, just to show you what you'd be out of pocket if you bought this deal. We've got 2 points. We've got, or we'll do 3 points just to be safe. Agent fees. Now, if you have a license, this is just going to be 3% to the buyer's agent. If you don't, and you have someone listing on your team, it's going to be 6%. And then we'll put 3 months. We hope to get it done sooner, but never know with this market. So the total loan of $190,000 that covers the purchase and the rehab. The max amount of loan at 70% on this deal would be $199. That's 70% of $285. So that it's fine, right? What we're bringing here is sub 70%. So it's just going to lever down to what you need. We need 190, which is the purchase, 185, and then the rehab of 5,000. So really, we're just bringing closing cost to the table. It puts us right at $10,000 here, and obviously, I didn't have to pay the full points on here. So if you see here, 61.75, that's right around where we had to bring the cash to close. So $6,000 to get into it. Now, these are little variables that you can play with. We are agents, or my partner's an agent. I got to do my continuing education, but I've been an agent for many years. So if you have somebody on your team with a license, you're going to save yourself a big whack, right? It's definitely good to have if you can. So we're going to put it at our numbers at 3% on the agent fee. And then I'm going to keep this at 3 months because we hope to get it, listed within the next week. So all being said and done, if this thing goes right, we would make $70,000, right? We would get our $6,000 back that we had to buy the house. We would get our $6,400 in holding costs, which is our monthly interest payments, our monthly interest payments total, our taxes and utilities. The total monthly interest is 3, so that's 1,900 times 3, which is 5,700 plus the 750. So yeah, 6,450 would be our holding cost, and we would net around $70,000. And I say we because I actually have a partner on this one. So yeah, we would net around 70 if it sold for 285. But what I like about this one is it has quite a lot of room. You know, if we had to drop this thing down to 260, you know, we're still making 45,000. There's just a lot of wiggle room in there. So yeah, I'm not going to run the cash to close calculator because you can see this flip calculator also kind of estimates your cash at purchase. This calculator is going to be on the new website we're launching here in the next 2 weeks. So I can send it to you now, or you might want to just wait until it comes out. We got some awesome ones on there. We've got DSCR calculator. This thing is good if you're planning on holding the property. You need to know the DSCR rate on the property. We've got a rehab calculator, so you can plug all your numbers in there and use to estimate your rehab with contingencies and everything in there, how we would evaluate it. But yeah, what do you guys think? You guys think this was a good deal? We'll follow along with it and see what the final sales price is, and then we can kind of crunch all the numbers. Like, you see what we bought it for on the HUD, you know our out-of-pocket cost. We'll tell you the holding cost, and then we'll tell you what it costs to sell the house, and then what we netted from this deal. This deal, if you looked at it from a purely wholesale stand, if you still believe in that 285 ARV and we're trying to buy it at 70% at 185, that's really only going to leave us about 10 to 15K in rehab. So it's not a lot of meat on there to wholesale it. If we wholesaled it, added a wholesale fee onto there, it's going to be pushing those numbers considerably up onto the overall leverage. But because it's been kept in such good condition and it's so clean, by just closing on the property and throwing it on the market, it makes so much more sense than trying to wholesale it or trying to go in there and put $70,000, $80,000 in there to flip it. Now, we might have to go in there and make a few additional corrections. We're going to do some paint, a little bit of sheetrock work. We're going to replace the face plates and the sockets. We're going to deep clean it, basically clean out all the gutters. Just make it real nice and clean and presentable.